That was very sweet of you to get me a bunny for Easter.
Today, we will be taking a look at two of Neville's lectures, both entitled, All Things Are Possible, one from 1967 and another from 1969. We'll begin with his lecture from 1967.
Vanilla and chocolate. It's like a vanilla cream or chocolate cream or cake and something crispy.
美味しいですか?
Oishii! Japanese sweets are so light and delicious.
Well, okay.
I'm going to try this. I don't know what it is. Looks like a milk cocoa. Tastes just like that, Toshi. Cocoa with milk, whole milk. Can you open this for me? Show us how to properly open it. You said I don't open it right. Is it? One.
Oh.
Toshi. Oh, this one's easier to open. Omosuburi. What's it? How do you say it again?
Tuna.
Omosuburi?
Omusubi.
Omusubi. What's the difference between that and onigiri? Same thing?
Same. Oh, 美味しいよ.
There are those in my profession who get wealthy women to support them, and they will, believing they are doing God's work, as you would milk cows. How could a man who said, "Whatever you desire, believe you have received it and you will," depend upon wealthy women for support? I've been offered diamonds, jewels of all kinds, money, my rent paid for 5 years at a time, all kinds of things, but I've never accepted any of these. I've paid all of my debts, but not through gifts such as these. When they told me this was common practice, I assured them that I was not common and was not in the market for what they offered. Once Neville really got the law down, and he was able to fulfill all his wishes with his own imagination. He didn't need anything from someone else. Now I do recall, there were some lectures as gathered by Natalie, a friend of Neville's family, who had recently transcribed some recordings that the family had. I did come across a lecture of his. When he first started out, and very few people had come to hear him, he sometimes did pass a hat around and accept donations. And in some lectures, Neville did charge some fees, but to cover the cost of room and board for him and his family who he often traveled with, particularly when he had to speak in another state. Today, more than ever, there are many spiritual teachers out there, and some are very expensive, several hundred to even thousands of dollars. If someone really knew the law and they could get all the money they wanted to, would they need to charge that much? But is it wrong for someone to charge a lot even if they haven't mastered it, but they're able to recite Neville's teachings, especially in their own way, and people feel helped by it? Well, Neville's also taught it's not really for us to judge, is it? Because what we condemn, we sometimes will end up playing those parts one way or another. So, let people do what they feel is best for them, but may we always remind everyone, in the end, bring it back to yourself.
So this is a sports shop. Let's go. Why is there wood here? This is a Japanese sports shop. White socks. What? Babes for boobs. What kind of top? You brought me to a great sports store. It is so big.
Neville goes on to say, if you read a doctor's report in the morning paper and remember what the same doctor reported a year ago about the same condition of the human heart, you would find that the doctor had completely contradicted himself, or perhaps he is only quoting another doctor. Well, if there are 1 million doctors, do Do you know you will find 1 million different treatments for the same disease? Treatments are more fashionable than the clothes you wear, changing often, but the word of God is forever. Isn't that so all throughout history? Today eggs are good for you, tomorrow eggs are bad for you, and a whole slew of things. And yet the same problems still go on. Sometimes even more complicated things arise from these things. When I was little, people didn't really seem to have a weight problem. Today, it's more prevalent, especially in the West. And yet more than ever, you have people selling you so many different solutions to fix the weight problem. But instead, it seems it brings on a whole bunch of other different problems, immune problems, digestive problems. Haven't we had enough of all this craziness? Believe that all things are possible to you, and that you are what you want to be. Persist in that assumption, and it will harden into fact. Having assumed the life you now live, no one can take it from you but yourself. You have the power to lay it down by no longer being conscious of it, and the power to pick it up again through consciousness. It sounds like the easiest thing, doesn't it? But taking complete responsibility for everything often proves to be most challenging for most people. And as we know, people often return to what they know, even if it is quasi-miserable, more or less. This is Japanese version of V8. Vegetable juice. Oh, unique. Pistachio pudding. Like $1. Condensed milk bread from northern Japan. That must be interesting. What kind of cereal breakfast item is this? Is it healthy?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, maybe I'll get one instead of... But which one? Okay. Chocolate. Oh gosh, I love chocolate. But that would seem more like a dessert. I'll try this one. Oh, this is Japanese version of breakfast bars, I guess. Let me try one. These often end up being too much sugar or sweet, doesn't it? Fuji, do you want to try one too?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I guess we'll split it. Oh, you got something different. Is it brown beer? What's that mean?
Brown.
Okay. Cool looking rice. But I don't need the rice today. Here's your snacks. And in the 1969 version of the same lecture, Neville says, "Let us say you would like to be in San Francisco now, but you don't have the time or money to make the trip. What do? You ignore the present moment and subjectively appropriate your objective hope by sleeping in San Francisco tonight. As you lie in your bed, look at your world through the eyes of one who is sleeping in San Francisco. You may wake in the morning and find you are still physically in Los Angeles. But while you slept, changes were taking place which will compel you to make the journey. I tell you, you will always go physically to the subjective state you have appropriated. I've done the same thing when I wanted to go to the French Riviera, and yet I was terrified to fly in a plane, because the pain was so excruciating when the plane would land, even when I tried special earplugs, went to a doctor for help. But when I remembered it and felt like it, I would sleep, imagining I was in France, in the French Riviera. And so naturally a way was made and I found myself on a plane, and there was no pain. A little discomfort, but no pain, just as I had imagined. And this is when I had just started learning about Neville a handful of years ago. And I did the same thing when I wanted to come to Japan. And then when it looked like my dream was about to come true, and then they closed the borders due to the pandemic, what was I to think? I just kept imagining. And then a way became obvious, and I followed it, and I just felt everything was flowing one thing after the other. But as much as we can move into a state of where we want to be, we can also fall out of it. So always be mindful, keeping your focus where you want it to be, despite whatever reality shows you. And however long it takes once you know the desires of your heart, because nothing else like them will fulfill you. And once you have it, it's always worth it." Neville goes on to say, I am not saying it's easy, but it becomes easier with practice. If I gave a Stradivarius to one who had mastered the violin, he could lift me to the nth degree of joy. But if I put the same violin in the hands of one who could not play it, he would shortly drive me insane. It's the same violin, yet one brings harmony while the other brings discord. You kill and make alive out of the same instrument, which is your own wonderful human imagination. You may make many discords until you learn how to play. We are here in this world of educated darkness learning to play the instrument which is God. You may not know anyone who would give you $10,000 right now, but if you believe all things are possible to God, and you know that God is your human imagination, you can imagine you have the money. Persist in your belief and you will have it. How? I do not know. I only know that according to your belief will it be done unto you. So remember what he says here. He's never said it was easy. I mean, it sounds easy, but to put it into practice, especially with things that you consider dear to your heart and big, when you're seeing the continuation of the opposite. But the key is practice, just like learning an instrument, and your instrument is your imagination. So go easy on yourself, but you also have to do the work. You have to exercise it and build this imaginal muscle, skill. And everything can be resolved, even though while learning, horrible mistakes are made. Don't condemn yourself for anything you have ever done, or doing, or may do, as you learn to play the instrument who is God himself, and your own wonderful human imagination, for there is no other creative power. So don't be afraid to make mistakes. Maybe you make something and you realize it's not what you really want. Or maybe you go to make something, but your doubts and fears come, and so what manifests is sort of what you want, but not exactly. And this is all part of learning, so you're on the right path. So keep going.
Got 2 shirts, 3 shorts, a hat. That's like maybe $4 USD for a bowl of ramen.
Neville says, Your I amness is he. Say, I am secure, I am wealthy, I am free. This may not be true based upon your senses, but I am simply asking you to say the words. For the moment you do, you are subjectively appropriating security, wealth, and freedom. Reason will try to take these from you. So I ask you to play a little game with me. Go through the door and walk as though you are secure, wealthy, and free. Sleep this night as though it were true. If you do, you will not fall asleep seeing the world as you did last night. You will see it differently. If this morning someone gave you a check for $20,000 and you deposited it to your account, you would be $20,000 richer. Therefore, you could not sleep tonight as you did before. Now, without waiting for someone to physically give you the money, go to bed as though it were true. Put Christ to the extreme test. If all things are possible to God, and if all things are possible to the believer, can you believe? I am not saying you will succeed the first night or even the second night. Having been trained to accept only what your reason and sense dictate, you may find it difficult, almost impossible, to believe what you could believe, but you can.
Oh, okay.
And there are many small shops.
Oh, I heard it's a place with all kinds of sweets in a little bit like Italy, just a tiny little place. I heard it has the most sweet shops and cafes. Thank you. I just got a simple little ramen for like $3, right? USD. Yours is a little bit nicer, maybe $4 or $5. Double order gyoza.
There.
Oh, okay. Okay, the ramen. strong dollar, so $14 USD. It makes it so cheap because you can have free drink. No tipping.
空いてるお席にどうぞ。4名様ご案内です。失礼しました。お客様のおかげで880円です。
カードで
Normally, Neville doesn't advocate affirmations. But here he does say, I am, followed by whatever it is you want. For the moment you do it, you are subjectively appropriating your wish fulfilled. But Neville wants you to take it a step further, because in his experience, this is what helped him to embody the wish fulfilled more fully and to have greater success in manifesting his wishes. He would walk as though he already was. He would go to sleep in the mood of the wish fulfilled. So in essence, he pimped up the affirmations. Sometimes when people just use affirmations, the feeling gets lost and they don't quite get the results they want. But Neville, coming from a more dramatic background of dance and theater, he brought more drama into it to bring it more real. And this is what worked for him and many of his students. So this is what he teaches here.
Bye bye, Fuji. 다시 자로. It's like a dollar store. Heaven. It's the cutest little mini potato chip. I think I have to get 3 of them. She can do snacks. All kinds of snacks. Does your dollar store have heart chocolate? Japanese style Dorito.
So can you play a little game right now? Whatever it is you want to be or to have. Can you walk through the door right now and imagine you're the person you want to be or that you already have what you want? How would you walk through that door? Well, walk through that door. Play in imagination. And as Neville teaches, with practice it will become easier. With persistence it will become fact. And take that same mood when you go to bed at night and sleep. You're sleeping as the person who already is what they want to be, who already has what they want to have. Now, let us go into the silence and play in imagination. Good.
Dollar store. I got this to hold the knife, cutting board. I got this cute cat cutting board. I got this to put the hot pot on and this hook to hang it from. I haven't tried this out yet. Kawaii to hold the sponge. I can put it here instead of this middle thing maybe. I got this rack to hold all the mugs and cups. I got this little rack inside. We got everything for like $10 USD. Let's see if this cute thing actually works in the sink. So I guess you just put the, oh my god, it really does stick. I could maybe get rid of this. So I can clean with a sponge and then stick it there. While the mister is taking a shower, let's try that pistachio pudding. A little hard to do with one hand. It's jiggly. Oh my god. That's damn good. It's like the softest of soft, and yet a true pistachio nut flavor. And yet very creamy. Sweet, delicate. What did you think of the tomato?
Oh, good.
I'll tell you what I think compared to American V8. It's a much. I mean, I like American V8 more. It just tastes like it has a lot less salt, more healthy. So let's try the condensed milk bread. Oh, and some apple jelly. So this is the condensed milk bread. I tried some, then not toasted, but it tastes like regular bread. Is it healthy? It looks like it's
Healthy.
wouldn't be. Why is it healthy? Is this wheat? What's inside?
Wheat.
Butter? What's inside?
Cream.
Cream? That's weird. We might as well try it all, right? This looks more like a cereal with yogurt or something on it. Let's try it. Okay.